England basically translates to land of the Angles. The Angles were a Germanic tribe who came from a narrow German peninsula called Anglia in the 5th century, along with the Saxons. Similarly, the Romans referred to Germany as the land of the Germani, or Alemanni, tribe, thus, the given name, or exnym. The name the Germans gave to themselves, the endonym, is Deutschland. Deutsch coming from an old Germanic word which, simplified, means people or popular people. Similarly, the Old English word weal, meaning foreigner, was used by the Anglo-Saxons to refer to the Celts already on the land. This word gives the exonym Wales, whereas the endonym is Cymru, meaning compatriot. Scotland comes from Scotti, the Latin name for the Gaels, and was originally used to refer to Ireland. Scotland was known as Alba before becoming a land of the Scots. Ireland actually derives from the Irish goddess Eru, a goddess of sovereignty. The collective name Britain goes back to the Greek word Bretonike, which came from the Celts who lived there, who referred to themselves as the Britani, meaning painted people. Our word Spain comes from Latin, Hispania, which comes from Carthaginians, who, when they arrived in Spain, found so many rabbits, they named the land Ishpanin, or, roughly translated, Hirix's land. Portugal derives from the Roman Celtic Portus Calais, Portus meaning port, and Calais having an clear origin. The land occupied by the Franks, who were possibly named after the Franken spear they used, was given the name Francia, which eventually became France. Italy's etymological root has two main theories. One is from the first Italics the Mycenaeans encountered, who called the southern area of Italy, Datiliu, which means land of the young bulls, in the Oscan language they used. Italy could also be named after the mythical king, Italus. The Netherlands simply refers to the low flatlands, close to the sea level of the country. Similarly, Poland or Polska comes from the Polans, a Slavic tribe who inhabited the area, Pol coming from an old word meaning flatlands. Den also possibly comes from an old word meaning flatlands, or maybe from a mythical Danish king Dan. Mark is an old term for borderland, so Denmark means land of the Danes. Belgium was named after the Belgae tribe who resided in the Gallia Belgica, a Roman province / part of Gaul. It was originally only an exonym, before being adopted to help establish Belgium's independence. Traveling north, Floki Vilgerdeson, upon seeing a bunch of icebergs on this northern land, named it the land of ice. Surprisingly, Norway, also, quite literally comes from Northway, that is if I go along its coast I go the north way. The name Sweden derives from the root Swen, meaning one's own. Sweden being the land of the Swedes, or the lands of one's own tribe. Finland, simply land of the Finns, Finns with an unknown origin. Romania comes from Rome. The Romanians saw themselves as the direct successors to the Romans. One of the first Greek-speaking tribes the Romans came into contact with was the Gracchi, who settled in the Manor Graecia of Italy. They derived the term Graecia, land of the Greeks. Luxembourg is a Germanic version of the Latin name which means little castle. Switzerland means land of the Swiss, Swiss originating from inhabitants of Schwyz, its name possibly deriving from a word meaning clearing. Andorra possibly comes from the word Andosini, meaning big, an Arabic word meaning the forest, or a Narero-Aragonese word meaning land covered in bushes. The Vatican is named after Mons Vaticanus, the hills where the Papal sits. San Marino is named for Saint Marinus, a stonemason who settled a colony along the mountainside. Monaco is from the ancient Greek colony of Monagus, which translates to single home. Malta stems back to the ancient Greek Melite, literally land of honey or sweetness. Liechtenstein is from a castle of the same name, and is German for light stone. Austria is from the old German Osterreich, meaning the eastern way, as it was the eastern border of the Roman Empire. Czechia is from the Cheshi tribe, which possibly goes back to the Proto-Slavic word meaning kinsman. Slovakia and Slovenia both just mean land of the Slavic-speaking people. Similarly, Serbia is land of the Serbs, a South Slavic group, Serb possibly from a Proto-Slavic word, meaning alliance. Croatia, land of the Croats, while the Croatian name is Hrvatska, both may have origin in a Proto-Slavic word, one who guards. The Hungarians refer to themselves as Magyar, but the exonym comes from the Ungari people. Ungari going back to the Turkic, onoga, roughly translating to 10 arrows. Cyprus's name origin is unknown, but the land has given its name to the metal, East Cyprium, metal from Cyprus, also known as copper. Bosnia derives from the river Bosna, possibly deriving from the Proto-Indo-European word, meaning running water. The Herzegovina part means Herzog's land, Herzog the German word for duke. Turkey, land of the Turks, Turk a Turkic word for strong. Bulgaria is from the Turkic Bulgar tribe, possibly named after a Proto-Turkic word meaning to rebel. Albania traces back to an ancient Illyrian tribe, the Albani. Albanians use the endonym scoperio, which either relates to the word for eagle or the verb to comprehend. North Macedonia is from the Greek adjective makelos, meaning high, referring to either the mountains or the people. Montenegro is from the Venetian translation of this phrase, meaning black mountain, referring to Mount Lovchen, covered in a dense forest. Moldova derives from the Moldova River, the river's name from an old legend involving a drowned dog named Mulder. Latvia is named after an ancient Baltic tribe, the Latgalians. Estonia named after the Est people, possibly from the Slavic term meaning land of the east, and Lithuania's name is maybe from the Lithuanian Lietuva, which could be connected to a small river, but is ultimately unknown. Ukraine is probably from the old Slavic word Krajina, meaning borderland. Belarus comes from the Belarusian word Belarus, meaning white Rus, Rus in reference to an East Slavic tribe. Building from this, Russia has its roots in Rus, like the Proto-Finnic word for Sweden, Rusi, meaning the men who row, referring to the Scandinavian Vikings who settled there.